same job that an iPhone 6 can do. A basic HP laptop can do the exact same work that an Apple laptop can do. Now, it's very important that we get rid of these gadgets, we get rid of these blazers, the blazer culture, the culture of uniforms that are paid for by the SRC coffers. It's a very wrong culture. SRCs must wear tracksuits, SRCs must wear overalls, so that we see that they are public servants, we see that they are people who have been elected. They are not appointed, there's no one who employed them to be SRCs. Now, the fourth one speaks on progressive internationalism. Well, as the EFF Students Command, we take this particular pillar very seriously. We were instrumental, for example, in the founding of the Students' Union of Namibia, through working with our counterparts that side in ensuring that they found a radical and militant alternative to the reformist NANSO that exists in Namibia. We have been working with other various student organizations across the African continent, in Zimbabwe, in Liberia, in Ghana, in Nigeria, to ensure that we assist fighters and students in general to build their own revolutionary structures of the organization that will deal specifically with student issues. The next complementary pillar speaks to sports, culture, as well as arts. Now, these are very important components of the revolution fighters. Sports is a mass entertainment industry that can be used to catalyze the student revolution. In the Varsity Cup games, in all of these other sporting events, we can use them to get platforms to advance the revolutionary understanding of theoretical understanding, as well as the praxis that is needed to advance our revolution. These organized sports are also a breeding ground for the mass base of students that is needed by the revolution, and we have to ensure that all sportsmen and sportswomen, as well as sports GNF people who are in our institutions, are in fact recruited, are in fact educated and politically capacitated to understand the issues that we are facing as students. Now, the art aspect is very important. We all know the role that was played by the likes of Mam Yvonne Chaka Chaka, the likes of Mam Brenda Fassie in the liberation movement. Further note the role that was played by the arts in tertiary institutions during the Fees Must Fall movement, that actually assisted us in getting the message across to all people, because not everyone will understand English, not everyone will understand Marx's dialectics, not everyone will understand the theories of Fanon, but everyone can see the art, everyone can hear the song, everyone can see the play. So art is very important in actually making sure that we reground revolutionary culture in the communities of the people and in the communities of students in particular. And then the culture question, this one goes without saying, fighters. We have been culturally castrated as a people, and it is important that our revolution is cognizant of the fact that we must not only develop our economic and social position, but must also develop our cultural position and ensure that our cultures reascend to the apex of the cultural hierarchy where they rightfully belong. The next one speaks on the gender and sexuality question. This one, fighters, is very imperative, as one of the problems that we face, particularly in the student society, is this culture of sexism and normalized homophobia, transphobia, and all other kinds of sexual orientation and gender-based phobias that are really unrealistic and are backed by no logic whatsoever. So it's important, fighters, that our revolution, particularly as students, as the intelligentsia of the revolution, is characterized by anti-sexist, anti-homophobic, anti-progress reformist ideas that are against the people practicing their choices, as well as their biologically prescribed or intuited lifestyles. So the next one, it speaks to, that is relevant to the Students' Command, is a focus on science and technology. Remember, I won't deal with all the complementary pillars, as some of them do not really bear relevance in the EFF Students' Command and are dealt with at the level of the EFF. But now, when it comes to science and technology, it's important, fighters, for us to understand that the world is moving forward at a very fast pace. And unfortunately, as those who are subjects of colonial rule, we are 100 years behind as it relates to technology and as it relates to science. So now our revolution must not be a revolution that is anti-thinking and that is anti-development. Our revolution must be characterized by the use and excessive use and development of science and technology. Fighters must be very well equipped in maneuvering the different sciences. Fighters must be very well equipped in utilizing the different technological advancements that are at our disposal. And we understand, fighters, that at some point the cutting off of information as well as the technological underdevelopment due to infrastructural and other issues in our communities is a problem. And therefore our revolution must take that into cognizance, and we must ensure that as students we take the revolutionary knowledge that is imparted on us in these institutions and we give it back to our people in the communities in a simplified manner, not as a means to go to your kasi or your village and come across as a very smart person who can speak big English and do this and do that. But we have a responsibility to make sure that we simplify these issues so that Ukok Madlamini there in the deepest rural area will be able to understand the importance of science and technology in actually developing. The last one, it is support given to research, innovation, as well as enterprise development. Now, fighters, we are students. We are the hub of innovation. We are the hub of this thing of research. Tertiary institutions are in charge of more than 50% of the research that is produced by the country. So it's important that in our revolution we develop capacity for research, we develop a capacity for advancing innovations, and we in fact encourage fighters to come up with all sort and all types of innovative ideas that will help us in building our people and that will help us in advancing the people's revolution. Now, the last section that I will look into is the one that speaks to who stands to benefit from our revolution as the economic freedom fighters, and by extension the economic freedom fighters Students' Command. Now, the founding manifesto speaks of the black working class, the colored working class, the Indian as well as Chinese or Asian working class, as well as the white working class. What this teaches us is that our revolution is an inclusive revolution that is designed to cater for all people. It is a revolution that will be felt at the deepest grassroots level of the working class stratum. Now, in the context of students, fighters, it is important to understand that the working class student stands to benefit most from this revolution. And in fact, something that is not captured in the manifesto is that even the petty bourgeois student stands to benefit, because we will then have utilized this revolution to help them unleash themselves from the shackles of oppressing our people that they find themselves as developed by their ancestors. Now, it is important, fighters, to understand that our revolution is a revolution that seeks to develop the South African community in a holistic manner. Our revolution is a revolution that seeks to develop the people of South Africa across the board. Our revolution is a revolution that seeks to serve all students of South Africa and that seeks to improve the position of all students of South Africa. But we are not apologetic of the fact that we prioritize the poor, we prioritize the black majority, African in particular, because we understand the historical and the material conditions under which they find themselves. It therefore becomes imperative, fighters, that we continue to develop our theoretical understanding of the economic freedom fighters as well as its Students' Command. It's very important to understand that the Students' Command doesn't exist in isolation, but exists as a sub-body that exists within the economic freedom fighters. This understanding will ensure that we are always theoretically guided and practically guided in all of our programs, projects, and campaigns. I hope that this video has assisted fighters understand the role that is expected of them as students through the various or multiple issues that we have taken them through in this particular video. This is the National Deputy President of the EFF Students' Command, Komisali Zamfana, signing out. I thank you.